Alright, family, so there's something that a lot of us don't talk about. And that little something that we don't talk about is called burnout. And what burnout is when you literally burn out every bone in your body, and it's hard. So basically, I'm burned out. You guys don't know, but Vegan Kings was born the day I died. I remember waking up and going to work in my restaurant, right? And not feeling so good because I had diabetes. And because I had diabetes, I ended up in a hospital with blood sugar of 600. This is before I became vegan, right? So before I became vegan, this happened to me about a good 7-8 years ago, yeah. And 8 years ago, yeah, about that. So I turned vegan because of my health, and eventually became vegan because of everything else. You know, what they do to the animals, and I took it from there, right? I'm very, very mindful of my words, and I'm very mindful of what I say, you know, because I don't want to offend anybody, and I don't want to say the wrong things. We suffer from burnout, you know, and unfortunately, they don't teach us about financial stability. They don't teach us how to make money. You know, they that's what they do. They don't teach us how to save money, how to spend money, how to get money. All they do is force you to go to school and force you to get this degree and end up getting the degree, and the degree is useless. There's a lot of people out here with useless degrees that has bachelor's, master's, even doctorates, and their degree is useless because the field that they was trying to go into was saturated, and unfortunately they're not going to make the money that they want to. My business was law enforcement. I loved law enforcement, but I was a chef. So when I went to school, that's what I went to school for. I went to school for law enforcement. Law enforcement was kind of hard, so I dropped my classes and went to business school. And business school, it was a lot of math, and I hated it. So I dropped that and did other things in school, right? Just to get a degree, just to have, you know, to accomplish something. Because remember, I'm Haitian. You Haitian, your parents make sure you go to school, you get what you need to get. So basically, I'm an entrepreneur, right? And an entrepreneur is a person that, you know, gets paid doing the things that they love on their own account, on their own business. And I had a restaurant before, okay? And it was not easy. And burnout means when a person, sorry for the shakes, I'm driving, a person has a full place. Can you imagine having a McDonald's restaurant, but you don't have no staff? You know, you know, shout out to all the people with businesses that know what I'm talking about. And then to have a business and to have the staff that you hired steal from you. I'm talking about stealing hundreds, thousands a day. You know, this is what happened to me, and I'm pretty sure it happened to many others. So after that, I didn't want to have no business anymore, and I created Vegan Kings. Vegan Kings was created to show people how to transition from not being vegan to vegan. I did this because at the time I was, selling food, selling cakes, all types of stuff. And when I became vegan, it took me, I was depressed for 2 years. Why was I depressed for 2 years? I was depressed for 2 years because I didn't know how to use the vegan food to make something healthy. I didn't know how to cook it. I understood the demographics of it, but I didn't know about seitan. I didn't know about jackfruit. I didn't know about pumfu. I didn't know about tofu. I didn't know none of these things. Before I became vegan, I never knew what tofu was. All of this stuff is new to me. 8 years new, right? So I'm 8 years in now, but in the past, I had no idea what none of these things were. So now, I create this channel for all the people that don't know how to make dishes, because for the 2 years that I was depressed, trying to find my way, I was in the kitchen all the time, trying to find the master plan, trying to find an original recipe. I remember sitting in the living room and my wife said to me, "Yo babe, when are you gonna make ribs? You never made ribs before on your vegan channel." And I said to her, "I don't know how to make ribs." And I said, "I know how to make ribs, but I don't want to use seitan." Because everybody at the time was using seitan. They was using seitan with they was just using seitan and mushrooms or whatever, but they wasn't doing the technique I was doing, which was the Vegan King's viral ribs of adding Impossible meat or Beyond meat with jackfruit, and why did I? And I also have a trademark. My trademark was taking a piece of onion and putting 4 pieces of onions surrounding the ribs to give it that umami, to give it that flavor, right? So I did that. And the ribs went viral. All the people with the big social media following and the money at the time to accomplish what they wanted stole my recipe. And damn, why is the heat on? Shoot. Stole my recipe. And there's a lot of that happening right now in the industry. In the industry, nobody's giving credit when it's due. I was the one that created that recipe. Why I created that recipe? Because I didn't like seitan. Why I didn't like seitan, I'm gonna tell you how I happened. So one day, when the pandemic happened, about 2 years ago, or 3 years ago, I think it was 2 or 3 years ago, I don't remember, quote me if I'm wrong. So the pandemic happened, and I was stuck in the house. We would always go to Costco's and buy the Gardines. They had this big pack of Gardines, and the Gardines had these little miniature burgers, right? And these little miniature burgers was chicken. So it would come with the bun and the chicken, right? So fried chicken, bun. They would use seitan and a mixture of tofu or whatever. And I would buy it from Costco's. Damn, my hands is ashy. Put some lotion on. So, oh man, I got white stuff all over my pants. People gonna think something crazy. But yeah, so I loved, Gardines, because my go-to, right? Because remember, I'm vegan now. I'm not eating meat, eggs, dairy, nothing. Drinking soy milk only. Found out you shouldn't do that. So I stopped drinking soy milk, started drinking the almond milk, the cashew milk, the flaxseed milk. Stopped drinking that, and then eventually just started drinking oat milk because I feel like the oat milk was better for me, but whatever. So we're home. We was on lockdown, but we were still able to go out, and I think it was a curfew. So the curfew was, I think 11 or 12 o'clock. So we would run to Costco's and get those chicken sandwiches from Gardines. Let me tell you something. The pack comes with two little burgers. I'm gonna tell you what they look like. They look like the burgers from White Castle. They were little tiny burgers, so it would come in 2, right? So 2 chicken sandwiches with nothing on it, just chicken and the bun. So I ate it. And while I ate it, I was gasping for air. I couldn't breathe. Why I couldn't breathe? Because the gluten was messing with my gut. And remember, a lot of people don't know, but gluten, I'm not gluten intolerant. I don't have celiac disease or anything. It's just that when you become vegan, right? Your body goes through something. And a lot of vegans don't tell you, but you have to detox. And I did that. I did the burdock root, the sea moss. I did the colon cleanse. Like I really, and let me tell you something, guys. The things that came out of me, I was scared. And look, I'm a grown ass man, but I'm gonna tell you this. I was scared to go to the bathroom for days because of the amount of things I saw come out of me. Remember, I ate a lot of meat, a lot of pork. You know, I was heavy in the pork game. And that stuff is not good for you. You know, I'm Haitian. So, you know, we used to eat our fried griot. You know, we used to eat all that stuff. And it wasn't good for me. But anyways, so the gluten. So remember, those little burgers have seitan as the chicken and bread. So bread on top of bread. Gluten on top of gluten. Gluten on top of gluten. Okay? So gluten on top of gluten. And it just, I couldn't, I had, my stomach was swollen. I was sick. And I kept belching, but nothing was coming out. I was gasping for air. So we did everything in the house just to get me right. We took cloves, I took vinegar, I took baking soda, all types of crazy remedies. When I became vegan, it was in the era that everybody was using a lot of seitan, and I didn't like it because it made me sick. Not because I had celiac disease. So that's when I learned the trick that in order for me to eat any type of gluten, I have to take, you know, certain things. So I went on a cleanse. I had probiotics, kefirs, all types of stuff, lots of fruits and vegetables, increasing my fruits and vegetables. And then that's how I became what I am today. So now it got to the point, like, sometimes I don't even want to do this anymore. You know, sometimes I feel like I'm wasting my time, you know, and I'm just saying this because I never really talk about this type of stuff. You know, I suffer from anxiety and depression, right? And I was already diagnosed with the anxiety part in 2008 because I got hit from the back from a car doing 85 in the 30 lane. So that kind of messed me up a little bit. I don't really talk about it, but I suffer from anxiety, and, you know, and becoming vegan actually helped my anxiety a lot, tremendously. However, there were times that it would come and it would make me hesitate, you know, to do certain things. Like, for instance, my anxiety would kick in if I have to do a big event. If I have to do a big event, that anxiety would come out of nowhere and tell me that, you know, I can't do it. And I would be breathing like so heavily, and I feel like I'm gonna pass out. So my anxiety feels like I'm stuck in a house with the doors locked and it's on fire. Yeah, that's what it feels like. It would feel like that. And it was very irritating because there was so many things that I wanted to do, but I couldn't do it because I suffered from anxiety. It was to the point that I couldn't get on the train. I couldn't get on the train. I remember one time my mom was sick and she was in a hospital and I needed to go see her. but I didn't go see her because what the hell is this big ass truck? Yo, one thing I hate about like the roads is these trucks. I get it, these trucks gotta deliver stuff, but I hate these trucks. Like, they're so big and they should be on a separate road. It should be like a separate road, just like they separate the trucks and the cars on the highway. They should have separate places that trucks can't pass, because I wouldn't even go, because I do not like trucks. And I think that's for everybody. I hate trucks. They're just big, scary, and they drive so fast. These trucks be driving like 80 miles per hour, and I'm like, bro, you ain't supposed to be doing that. I'm not even doing 80. But anyways, so right about now, like, you know, with life, you can't tell your left hand what your right hand is doing, because if you tell your left hand what your right hand is doing, your right hand might hold your left hand down and stop your hand from doing what it needs to do. So that's the unfortunate thing about, you know, that saying. But yeah, so this conversation is about burnout and about story time. The day that I stopped eating gluten, I thought I was gonna die. You know, I could not breathe. And at that time, I couldn't go to the hospital because it was in the pandemic. So because it was a pandemic, the hospitals were not accepting any patients unless you was, you know, you had the coronavirus, you know, or COVID, whatever. So it was a little annoying. So I basically had to stay home and fend for myself and try to figure it out. And eventually, I just laid down, and my stomach was able to digest it, but it was the worst feeling in the world. I thought I was gonna die, and that's how I created my vegan ribs. My vegan ribs came from me almost dying and saying, I'm not using it, because my wife wanted me to make the ribs with seitan, because everybody was doing it. It looked so nice, I'm not gonna lie to you, and I fell in love with the fact that you could take something that's a plant and turn it into something that's meat, you know. And I was so infatuated with it. I was like, damn, so you telling me I could still have ribs? Yeah, it's not from a pig, you know, yeah, it's not from a cow, but just the thought of having something that had the same taste was remarkable to me. Because remember, meat don't have flavor. The flavor that the meat has stems from the seasoning, right? So I was like, oh, I could do this. But I had the seitan ribs, you know, and it made me sick. So I created the Vegan King's ribs, which is the viral ribs of, you know, using impossible meat with jackfruit. And then everybody took it. You could go on people's pages, you find that recipe, and it's my recipe. But I can't even get mad at them, because they stole it from somebody else who stole it from me, who didn't give me credit. You know, shout out to Miss Sweet Greens. She was one of the people that gave me credit and acknowledged me, and I feel so humbled by that, because she's a very big influencer, and she took time to write me and ask me if this was my recipe. And you know, she is so dope. Like, Sweet Greens, she is one of the kindest, sweetest, honest influencers out here. And for her to be able to talk to me, like, I was like, wow, I was amazed. And I appreciated her, you know, for that. And she gave me a shout out. And when she gave me a shout out, so many people came and followed me. And then my recipe ended up in Vegan News from somebody else that didn't make my ribs. So you see what happened? So they took my recipe, put it in Vegan News, and it got big. And then it made me feel like, damn, what is it? Like, what is it? Is it my video quality? What is it? Because I'm very active on social media, but I be feeling like sometimes the masses, right? I don't have that look, I guess, that they want, right? The masses be blocking my blessings, and And people always steal my recipes. I seen a guy, I'm not gonna mention who. I was the one that started making Haitian griot, right? Using what? Jackfruit. This nigga, excuse my French, you know when I had to go there, but took my recipe, had it all over his page. He has 2 pages, and he's a big person, so I'm not gonna say who he is. Now he's making vegan griot, and I'm like, bro, your vegan griot don't even look right. You come into the source, I'm the one that made it. So all the people that stole my recipe, you stole my recipe, but you don't have my flavor. You don't know how I did it. You stole the appearance. That's all you stole. You stole the appearance. You don't know how I did it. You know, I'm about to go to the store, but I want to see something. Why this lady looking like me, like I owe her money? What she look like? I don't know. People just be looking crazy. But I'll talk to you guys later. That was my story time. Why I stopped eating gluten and how Vegan King's ribs came about. I love you guys. I'll see you guys next week. I'll try to do a lot of these vloggings so you guys could actually see it. I'm on my way to the store real quick to go look for something, and I'll keep you guys posted. Alright? Peace. Alright, family, so I'm on my way to Trader Joe's real quick so I could grab some mushrooms for me to make this fried chicken with fried rice and some kale. This is something that I would typically do when I come home. So I'm just washing out the mushroom because mushroom is planted in the dirt, right? So you gotta remove all that dirt and stuff. Some people don't wash their mushrooms, which I don't understand why, but I do. So I'm gonna add everything into this baby and throw it in the air fryer. One of the healthiest things to have is an air fryer. You don't have to use oil. All you have to do is add a little olive oil or any type of oil to your vegetable and throw it in the air fryer, and it will become crispy. You just have to do it for 15 to 20 minutes and watch it just in case it doesn't burn. All right, guys, so I'm gonna have the full recipe below, and I hope you guys enjoyed this vlog. All right, family, so I hope everybody had a good day. We're gonna grab our seasonings and start adding it into this bowl, preparing it so we could throw this baby in the air fryer. The fried rice that I got, I purchased at Trader Joe's, which is actually pretty good. I don't really eat rice, so this is a little treat for the family for today. Since we are vegan, a lot of us are missing nutrients, and mushroom is packed with vitamin D. So I highly suggest you guys eating mushrooms. I eat mushrooms almost every day. It's my go-to meat that I love to eat. I never made this on YouTube, so I decided to just make a short video and show you how I do it. The air fryer is magical. All you have to do is just season it right, throw it in your pan, throw it in the air fryer for 15 to 20 minutes, and see the beauty that it makes. All right, so I'm adding a little cornstarch. You could add potato starch also, but I'm adding the cornstarch so it could have that crispy feel like fried chicken. And I'm gonna throw it in that baby for 15 to 20 minutes. Just go in and check it because, you know, you just wanna make sure it comes out nice and crispy. Don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe. Look how crispy that is. It might have shrunk a little bit, but it's nice and crispy and tender, and it mimics chicken very well. Whatever seasoning you use, it will mimic. So if you use pork seasoning, it'll taste like pork. If you use chicken, it'll taste like chicken or steak. And I'm gonna add some onions to the rice because I felt like it didn't have enough onions. And I also added a teaspoon of sesame seed oil, which enhanced the flavor. I'm not gonna lie, Trader Joe's bag of rice is pretty decent, and I hope you guys enjoy it too.